What if healing wasn't about changing yourself, but about remembering who you truly are? We spend our lives running towards something that always feels just out of reach: success, approval, beauty, peace. But the faster we run, the more we seem to lose sight of ourselves, like chasing our own shadow under the sun. No matter how fast we move, it always stays just one step ahead. Have you ever felt that? That quiet, aching feeling that no matter what you do, it's never quite enough? There's a truth, a deep, ancient truth, whispered through Buddhist teachings for over 2,500 years. You were never broken to begin with. You don't need to be fixed. You only need to return to yourself, but that's not easy, especially in a world that constantly tells you you're not enough, not successful enough, not attractive enough, not productive enough. Every scroll, every headline, every expectation becomes a mirror reflecting back our perceived flaws. A young woman once came to a temple after suffering years of anxiety and burnout. She had a great job, a picture-perfect life on social media, and yet she couldn't sleep. Her chest felt tight every morning. Her first words to the monk were, "I've done everything right. Why do I still feel so empty?" The monk smiled gently and asked, "When was the last time you stopped doing and simply allowed yourself to be?" She had no answer. So let me ask you the same question. When was the last time you sat with yourself without trying to improve anything, fix anything, prove anything, and just listen? Not to the world, but to you. Because the journey to healing doesn't begin with effort. It begins with stillness. And if you stay with me in the next few breaths, we will step into that stillness together. You may find that what you've been seeking out there has always been waiting quietly within. Are you ready? Many of us confuse healing with achievement. We think, once I'm more confident, once I have more money, once I lose weight, then I'll feel at peace. But peace doesn't live in the future. Peace is not the reward at the end of a long race. Peace is the silence that has been with you the whole time. You've just been running too fast to hear it. There's a simple truth in Buddhist teaching. You suffer not because you're broken, but because you've forgotten who you are. Like a mirror covered in dust, your true self is still there, unchanged, whole, waiting to be seen again. Let me tell you a story. There was a man named Daniel, a successful architect in his early 40s. On paper, he had everything: a respected career, a loving family, a modern home he designed himself. But inside, Daniel was restless. Every achievement felt like a temporary fix, a momentary high followed by an even deeper low. One day, after an unexpected panic attack in his office, Daniel walked out mid-meeting. He drove without a destination, ending up hours later near a forest monastery he had once seen on a documentary. Something in him said, "Go inside." He didn't go looking for Buddhism. He went because he didn't know where else to go. A monk welcomed him with tea, silence, and no judgment. Over the next 3 days, Daniel sat in quiet meditation, walked slowly in the garden, ate in silence. No one asked him what he did for a living. No one cared how successful he was. And for the first time in decades, he stopped being Daniel the architect. He was just Daniel, a human being, breathing, alive. On the third morning, while sweeping leaves from the stone path, he felt tears roll down his cheeks. Not from sadness, but from relief. He realized he had spent most of his life performing, pleasing, proving. And in that moment, Doing something as simple as sweeping, without pressure or praise, felt like freedom. He later said, "I wasn't healed in those 3 days, but I remembered what healing feels like." Maybe you don't need a monastery to feel that shift. Maybe you just need to stop, right here, right now, and ask yourself, what would happen if I no longer needed to earn my worth? Let that question sit with you. Because in the next part of this journey, we'll begin to uncover not only what makes you feel unworthy, but how to release it step by step, not by changing who you are, but by remembering who you've always been. Have you noticed how differently we treat ourselves compared to how we treat the people we love? If a friend comes to you in tears, feeling lost or ashamed, what would you say? You'd likely offer them comfort, remind them of their worth, tell them they're not alone. But when it's you who's struggling, do you offer the same kindness? Or do you become your own harshest critic? In Buddhism, there's a profound teaching. You are not your thoughts. Yet we live as though every judgment we have about ourselves is the truth. I'm not doing enough. I always mess things up. I'll never be like them. We repeat these thoughts until they become beliefs, and those beliefs become the lens through which we see the world and ourselves. I once met a woman named Claire during a mindfulness retreat in the countryside. She was soft-spoken, intelligent, and seemed so composed on the outside. But as the days passed, she opened up. She shared how she had been carrying a voice in her mind since she was a child. The voice of her mother, who never seemed satisfied with her. If she brought home a 9 out of 10 on a test, the question was, why not 10? If she won a prize, the response was, don't get arrogant. And over time, that voice became her own. Even after becoming a skilled therapist, helping others heal, she couldn't silence that voice in herself. She was deeply compassionate toward others, yet relentlessly unforgiving toward herself. It wasn't until she practiced metta bhavana, the meditation on loving kindness, that she had a breakthrough. At first, the words felt foreign. May I be happy. May I be safe. May I live with ease. But with each repetition, something softened. The inner critic didn't disappear overnight, but it no longer ruled her. She said, "For the first time, I realized I could speak to myself like someone I care about." That is the turning point. Not in pushing harder, not in becoming better, but in choosing, moment by moment, to meet yourself with compassion instead of comparison. So I ask you, whose voice are you still carrying inside you? And is it time to let that voice go? In the next part, we'll go deeper into how to gently release those old identities, the ones built from pain, perfectionism, and pressure, and step into the truth of your being, that you were never meant to be anyone else but you. We spend much of our lives building a self-image, an identity. I'm the strong one. I'm the one who always helps others. I'm the quiet one, the smart one, the reliable one. These labels feel safe. They give us structure, but over time, they also become our cages. Buddhism teaches about anatta, the concept of non-self. It's not about denying your existence. It's about realizing that the self you cling to is not as solid or fixed as you believe. You are not your roles. You are not your past. You are not even the emotions that pass through you. Think about it. If one day you feel confident and the next day you feel insecure, which one is the real you? If your thoughts and feelings constantly change, Maybe your self is not a permanent structure, but a flowing experience. I once knew a man named Kaido, a university professor from Japan. He was admired by his students, brilliant, articulate, respected. But what no one knew was that Kaido felt imprisoned by the very image others loved him for. Every morning he woke up terrified of saying something wrong, of not being the wise professor people expected. One day, during a meditation retreat in India, he broke down. He confessed to the group, "I feel like I'm acting all the time. I've forgotten who I really am when I'm not performing." That was the beginning of his transformation. Over the following months, he began a practice of intentional unmasking. He let go of needing to always know the answer. He allowed himself to be confused, uncertain, even vulnerable in front of others. And something miraculous happened. He didn't lose respect. He gained freedom. Kaido once told me, "The less I try to be someone, the more I feel like myself." This is what the teachings point toward. Not the death of personality, but the release of identification. To stop clutching so tightly to the idea of who you think you should be, and finally relax into the experience of who you already are. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be wise or strong or always put together. You just have to be present. So ask yourself quietly, what version of you are you still performing? And what would happen if, just for today, you allowed yourself to be no one, and in that, become everything? In the next chapter, we'll explore the power of presence, how to return to the here and now, and discover that all the peace, clarity, and healing you've been searching for has been waiting in this very moment, all along. There is a place within you that has never been wounded. No matter how many storms you've walked through, no matter how many voices have told you that you're not enough, that place remains untouched, silent, steady, waiting. But to reach it, you must slow down. Presence is not something to achieve. It's something to remember. Right now, as you listen, your mind may wander to the past, to the future, to everything you should be doing. That's normal. But healing doesn't live in the past, and it doesn't wait in the future. It lives here, in the breath you're taking now. The practice of presence isn't about escaping life. It's about entering it fully, feeling the warmth of sunlight on your skin, noticing the rhythm of your breath, hearing your own heartbeat without distraction. Most of us live from thought to thought, rushing, reacting, performing, rarely pausing long enough to actually meet ourselves. But when you return to the now, truly return, you stop chasing something else and begin experiencing what already is. And in that space, the space between noise and stillness, a new kind of clarity arises. Not a clarity of the mind, but a clarity of the heart. You don't have to know all the answers. You don't have to fix every flaw. You just have to be here with what is, without turning away. Because this moment, simple, quiet, honest, is where all healing begins. In the next part, we'll explore how cultivating this presence again and again allows self-love to naturally grow, not as a performance, but as a reflection of truth. If you've listened this far, pause for a moment and truly honor yourself. Not many people allow themselves the space to go this deep, to look inward, to question gently, to soften where they once braced. But you did. You stayed. And maybe, in some small way, you've touched that quiet place inside, the one that doesn't need to become anything, because it already is. Healing isn't a finish line. It's not a destination waiting at the top of some distant mountain. Healing is how you choose to breathe right now, how you speak to yourself when no one else is listening, how you return again and again to compassion when judgment tries to pull you away. So thank you. Thank you for walking this path with me, even if just for these few minutes. Thank you for giving yourself the gift of presence. You may not feel completely different yet, and that's okay. This journey is not about rushing, it's about remembering. And you are already on your way. In the next video, we'll go even deeper into the practice of letting go, how to release attachment, quiet the inner grasping, and find true peace even in the midst of uncertainty. So when you're ready, I'll meet you there. Until then, be gentle with yourself. You are already enough. Now and always. Om, om, om.